So the SLS has finally been announced. So the main differences between the SLS system and the Ares 5 is they're going to be using the Space Shuttle main engines, the three big engines at the back, for its core stage engines, attached to the bottom of the orange external tank. It's not going to be orange, it's going to be white with a black hollow paint job. You can't really see it right there, but maybe a little. Anyway, and then they're going to have the 5-segmented solid rocket boosters from ATK mounted on the side. It's going to be a little bit smaller too. They're going to have like a smaller diameter of the core stage. Like instead of being, I think it was like 10 meters or something like that, it's only going to be 8.5. So they're going to be keeping all of the space shuttle engines instead of sending them off with to the museums, and they're going to be using them for the first initial flights of the SLS, which is pretty cool. And then they're going to be switching from the production of those, which were reusable ones, that were for the space shuttle, and they're going to go to a non-reusable one that's cheaper to make. And they'll be expendable, but the rest of the rocket is expendable as well, except for the solid rocket boosters. Hopefully they've retained that capability. Something else that's pretty cool about this is NASA has said that they want to hold a competition in the future for a new rocket booster, and ATK could possibly win with their solid rocket booster, but SpaceX has said that they are interested in doing possibly a liquid fuel booster as well. And Aerojet is thinking the same thing, possibly based on the MK-33 engines, the Russian engines for their N1 Super, their moon rocket, pretty much. Anyway, that's pretty cool. But something that's not cool is the fact that they're talking about the first launch, the first test flight of the SLS, won't be until 2017. And I'm thinking, you already have so much work done. I mean, they've been working on the Constellation program for the past 6 years, and they've gotten a lot of work done for the Ares rocket. And like I said, it's not going to be the same size as the Ares rocket. It's going to be using different engines for the bottom, the Space Shuttle main engines. They were going to be using the same engines that are on the Delta rockets, but that was for the Ares 5, and so that, I guess, is the real big difference for this. But they have 12 of the Space Shuttle main engines, the reusable ones, that they're going to be using for the first initial flights. And at first I think there's only going to be 3 engines on the core stage, but they're going to eventually have 5, just like in the animation at the beginning. But they already have started work on the non-reusable ones, and those could be ready to fly, you know, probably in a few years. And since they already have 12 that are ready to go, I mean, there's that work done. And then the assembly facility in New Orleans, Lockheed's facility, that builds the external tank, they have just recently completed their Pathfinder tank for the new size that would be for the SLS. And they're upgrading some of their tools, like the computerized welding systems, so that they can, you know, do a lot more precision work and stuff. But, you know, that won't take very much time. It won't take very much time at all. And I mean, Aerojet's been having huge success with the J2X engine, but they've had a couple problems. But I mean, what can you do with only so much, you know, the budget for the past 6 years? But I mean, that won't even be for the first initial test flights anyway. That'll only be later when we need the second stage for actually transporting cargo and crew and all the other type of mission objectives that they have. So I'm really confused by the 2017 date. I think that you could do it a lot sooner. So if anybody from NASA is watching this, I think that you guys can do it way sooner. 2015, maybe even 2014, even with the budget that you guys have been given. And you guys are saying that it's only going to cost about $17 billion for this whole entire thing, which I think is a huge overestimate. Even more than what those rumors were flying around, that it was going to be like $60 billion, and you guys are like, no, it's only going to be $17 billion. I think that's still way too much. I think you guys can still do it for cheaper. I mean, ATK had just had their first test firing of the 5-segmented rocket booster. Huge success. It was perfect. So the point is that there's already been a lot of work done, and I think that NASA could do their first test flight way sooner than what they're letting on. And maybe that is the case, and they just want us all to think that it's 2017, which I hope so. If you're all fooling us, NASA, then way to go, but I really think that it could be done much faster. Anyway, there's quite a few other things that we need to talk about, so I'm going to make another video and post that a little later. Good job, Charlie Bolden, for finally announcing it, but pretty late coming, don't you think?